Good morning, and welcome to the Sunday morning service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende. Buenos días y bienvenidos al servicio de los Unitarios Universalistas de San Miguel de Allende. We are located on the lands of the Chichimeca, Otomi, and Nahua peoples, and are making community by Zoom across Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. Welcome, all of you joining us today, wherever you are, whatever your religious background or lack of one. And whoever you love, you can bring your whole self here. Pueden traer su ser enteros aquí. My name is Lauren Osornio, and I am a member of the UUFSMA, and I am the service leader today. If we have any social announcements? No? Yes? Yes. If we have any visitors who are here for the first time, would you please stand and let us see you so we can acknowledge your presence and get to know you? Yay! Please join us after the service for coffee. And feel free to talk to anybody here. We'd love to meet you. All right.
I don't see anyone standing on Zoom, so if you are a visitor on Zoom, please type your name into chat and maybe how you found out about us, where you're from, so our host can greet you afterwards. And good morning. I'm the Reverend Tom Rossiello, the minister of this congregation, and it's wonderful to be with you again for worship as we continue our exploration of this rich season of light. This morning, it's a real joy to welcome back to our pulpit the Reverend Dr. Wayne Arnason. Wayne is a lifelong UU who has served in our ministry for 50 years. Boy, you're old. And he's also been a Buddhist practitioner for 40 years. He and his lovely wife, the Reverend Kathleen Rolenz, who will be our preacher next week, make their home in Charlottesville, Virginia, where Wayne previously served as a minister. Also, Wayne and Kathleen served together as ministers in Ohio. Wayne has served as president of the UU Ministries Association and the Unitarian Universalist Buddhist Fellowship, and is co-author of a book on UU worship and one on Buddhist voices in Unitarian Universalism. And although he claims to have retired in 2016, I see no evidence of that. Wayne, it's great to have you back. You know, if you walk down the street at night here in San Miguel, you cannot help be reminded that we are celebrating a season of light. This is the time of year when so many religious traditions celebrate that. And we will continue over the next several weeks to draw on many of those traditions. But apart from the season, every week we begin our service by lighting a chalice flame, the symbol of our faith tradition. And we often say we do so with a spark of the flame that burns in each of us. And for the next several weeks, we're going to light our chalice in a very special way. The light is going to come to us from members of our fellowship who are joining us via Zoom from far or near, and each week we'll briefly reflect on what the light of the season means to them. As they do, we'll light our chalice, and then we'll all join in the season chalice lighting response, which is listed as the congregational response in your order of service.
Hello. Good first Sunday in December. We are Frankie Hill and Jean Marie Stein. I'm on your board of directors and the Committee on Ministry. The best seasons of light in my memory have been bubbles of time outside of time, opportunities to step away from routine or reaction and move much more intentionally. In these times, you get to ask yourself questions like, how do I really want to spend my time this season? What do I want my home to look like? What special food do I want to eat? What do I want to give people or ask them for? And those of us who have spent seasons of light away from our families of origin for reasons of queerness or transness or neurodivergence or loss or just knowing we needed a different life, understand this intentionality in a unique way. The season becomes not just about absence, but necessarily about presence, about the ongoing act of saying yes to chosen family. Who do you really want to have around you? How do you want to be together? Okay. Mary's going to light the chalice.
We light this candle today for all those deprived or oppressed anywhere in the world, which I estimate to be about 80% of the population.
There it is. Boop. So here's our light going out to all of us. May we spend this season selecting joy and warmth as intentionally as possible and creating the space we'd wish on ourselves and each other the rest of the year.
Please join in the congregational response. Candles, fire, and stars, these are the symbols of this most blessed season. Candles for the banishing of darkness, fire to warm hearth and home, stars to beckon us, guiding our footsteps to the holiest. Our gathering hymn is number 360, Here We Have Gathered. And you know, that word here does not just mean here in this room, it means in this community, whether you're on Zoom or physically present here. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing. The words will appear on the screen as well as in the hymnal, and Lauren will lead us, and remain standing for our covenant, please.
Please remain standing for our covenant. First in English and then in Spanish. We respect the interdependent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant. Respetamos todos los estilos de vida dentro de su red interdependiente y trabajamos por un mundo justo y pacífico. Alentamos la búsqueda de la verdad y la comprensión total. Nos esforzamos por mantener compasión en nuestras relaciones y buscamos valores que beneficien nuestras vidas y las vidas de los demás. Este es nuestro convenio.
You may be seated. And also at this time, we do have Spanish translations available for most of what Wayne will be doing with us today. So if anyone would like one, Deanna has them in the back and she'll bring them to you. Just raise your hand if you would like one. There's one, a couple more. Feel free. A couple over there, good. Okay, thank you. I'll just get the cards over here. All right. We are a caring community, and each week we share significant joy, sorrows, and concerns with the hope that in doing so, we are opened up to help and reach out to each other. And for each joy, sorrow, or concern that we share, we light a candle indicating that that person, that thought, that prayer is held in all of our hearts this morning. If you wish to have a joy, sorrow, or concern shared in a future service, please feel free to email it to me, and you find out on our website how to do that. If you're going to be at the service, as several people have done this morning, you can write on an index card that the ushers have, and they will give it to me to share. And if you're on Zoom, you can type it into chat now, and Diego will keep a watch on that for us. Okay. I'm going to light our first candle for Jim Harper, who is now home from the hospital after having had a stroke. Please hold Jim and Betsy in your thoughts and prayers. Also home from the hospital, but in New York City, is Bill Dulcimer. We light a candle for him and for Janet as they embark on a couple of weeks of rehab. Michael Brunette, who many of you know as the cookie guy, is doing really well after having a knee replacement after a very painful week last week. So we hope that's resolved. Light a candle for Kirsten and Susan, and in memory of their service dog, Bindi, who passed away this week. And Kirsten has asked if she would like to plant a tree in memory of Bindi, and if anyone is interested in helping with that, you could talk to me or to her. Okay. Last week, it was a big birthday here. We want to make sure we recognize it. It was Diego's birthday, so happy birthday, Diego. And we have a birthday today as well. It's Ty Alfreds, who is going to provide us with some music later today. And several people mentioned it, but Ty himself wrote a joy, so I'm going to read it. He's so grateful to have landed here. It's his birthday, and he gets to sing in the service. And Tom and his partner, are closing on their new home this week, their new home here in San Miguel. We light a candle. This candle is by Jeannie Seward McGee. In December 2015 was 10 years ago when their 39-year-old son transitioned. They'll be going for a few days to the beach to celebrate his life. As a Buddhist from Korea wrote, when a parent dies, they're buried in the ground. When a child dies, they're buried in the parent's heart. Tim, her son, gave us so much joy in his short life, so much to be grateful for. Thank you, Tim. Jeannie. Diego? Okay, let me see what I can find. Just one, okay. Let me find it. Okay. Susan Del Camo has a concern, truly a joy, though, she says, to return 2 weeks to my primary home in San Miguel to be greeted with slaps of vibrant color, warmth, neighbors, and those I have not seen since COVID actually remembering me, especially, sorry, it's a little jerky today. Especially grateful to manage so many personal loose ends and swiftly with grace. Her concern is she had been in a black box of Zoom names for too long, although she says I remembered her anyway. Okay. I think that's basically, just the others are words of welcome. Got it all? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. You know, of course, our thoughts and prayers aren't limited to just the members of our community. We have 2 large candles that we light. One is a peace candle, which we light for peace everywhere, for all those who've been killed, injured, or displaced by war, acknowledging the war in the Middle East, the Ukraine, Sudan, and elsewhere, Africa and Asia. We light our other large candle, and we call it our Mexican candle. This is for the people of Mexico. Many of us who are guests in this country wish to do this as an expression of gratitude to them for their welcome and hospitality. But we also light this candle for concern. Again, this week, concern for the harsh U.S. policies that are hurting Mexicans and the harsh and just treatment of Mexicans and, of course, other immigrants who are in the U.S. Our final candle is one for all the joy, sorrows, and concerns held deep in our hearts, but which remain unspoken this morning. Spirit of community, in which we share and find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts to one another, seeking to bring into our circle all who need our love and support, those who are ill in body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We renew our commitment to justice, fairness, and compassion for all people. We acknowledge that we are part of the web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. May this time of shared joy, sorrows, and concerns lead us to a better understanding of our community and the precious gifts we possess that enable us to minister to each other and strengthen us in our resolve to live the values and principles of our faith tradition. And now, if you would like to come forward and light a silent candle in witness of whatever you're holding in your hearts this morning.
Well, what a pleasure to be back with you once again. Kathleen and I have so enjoyed our time in San Miguel in the past and this weekend since we arrived, and it's lovely to see some familiar faces and make some new friends today. And especially to be here in December, the month in the northern hemisphere where we arrive at the darkest time of the year, not so much here, a little bit. It's the time that is paradoxically called the season of light, because during these dark weeks in so many of the world's parts of the world, the world's faiths will celebrate spiritual holidays that shine a light of wisdom and community to sustain us through dark times. And Unitarian Universalist congregations look for inspiration in many different religious traditions during the season of light. Many celebrate Los Posadas at Christmas time, not only here in Mexico, but elsewhere. Others will also hold services that recall the Hanukkah festival of Judaism, or the solstice Yule rituals of pagan and Wiccan communities, or the African American celebration of Kwanzaa. During my own lifetime, more and more Unitarian Universalists have found inspiration within or taken up the spiritual practices of Buddhism. And as you heard, I'm a born and bred Unitarian Universalist, but I've also had Buddhist teachers and a practice for 40 years. And there are about 200 congregations in North America that have Buddhist sitting groups of various kinds in the congregation available to their members. About 1 in 20 UUs identify Buddhist wisdom or practice as an influence in their spiritual lives. So it's not uncommon anymore for our congregations to have a service like the one we are celebrating today, honoring the Buddhist holy day that occurs at this season, known as Bodhi Day, or Buddha's Enlightenment Day, or Rohatsu in the Japanese Zen Buddhism, Soto Zen Buddhism that I practice. It's usually celebrated tomorrow, December 8th. Bodhi Day commemorates that morning 2,500 or so years ago, when the Prince Shakyamuni had a powerful insight into the nature of all being that changed his life and changed the world. In the koan collection, The Transmission of the Light, we read in the first case that at the age of 19, Shakyamuni leaped over the palace walls in the dead of night, leaving behind the confines of his noble family and his comfortable home, seeking to find the meaning of a life that he felt was imprisoned by suffering, aging, and death. And the text tells us that according to the Hindu practices of his culture, Shakyamuni practiced austerities for 6 years, but at last gave that up and resolved instead to do nothing but sit still in meditation with his deep discontent that still plagued him despite all of his efforts. And the text goes on to say that time passed, and on the 8th day of the 12th month, as the morning star appeared, he experienced enlightenment. And his first words after that, his first lion's roar, the text says, what were these? I, together with all beings and the great earth, attain the way. Now, there may be some things that you notice in this story that has some things in common with other religious tradition stories associated with the season of light. There is a period of waiting and searching, and there is a star that arises to announce that the world has changed. And there is the belief after this night was over that something new had been brought into being by what had happened, something we describe with this English word, enlightenment. But was this really a new human experience? Or was it a way of describing and inviting an experience that has been available to human beings for thousands of years before and since? Since he when he came walking out of the forest after this experience, and his old friends with whom he had spent long hours in practices of self-denial first saw him, they immediately recognized Shakyamuni, but they also saw that he was different, very different. "Are you a god?" one of them asked. "No," replied Buddha, "I am awake." Well, what happened to Buddha under that tree? So this is what we're going to explore today. But first, I just have to invite you to begin with the practice that Buddhists of different traditions around the world will take up to honor that singular event so long ago and seek to understand what it means for them, and that is sitting in meditation. At the Rohatsu season, Zen Buddhists will undertake longer meditation retreats or sessions, often sitting throughout the night in a vigil that can be personal or can be shared with everyone in the community, in the Sangha, all taking turns to keep the meditation vigil going. Today, don't worry, we're not going to sit in meditation throughout the night or throughout the service. We're only going to sit together in silence for 5 full minutes, but that is 5 times longer than I'm sure you usually sit in silence in this congregation. So let me give you a couple of hints. This is just going to be a way that we offer thanks for the light that this great teacher of all humanity has brought into the world. And if you're familiar with meditation and practice, do what you do. If you're not, or if you've tried before and don't feel like that's for you, I just invite you to get comfortable and as much as you can in these chairs with your back somewhat straight, and to allow yourself to follow your breath for 5 minutes. And you can do that by counting your breaths up to 10 and then starting over. It's not as easy as it sounds, because stuff comes up. You'll think. It's okay. Everybody does. 40 years of practice, I sit on the cushion, I still think. So you're not going to stop thinking. It's what you do with that. It's whether you can notice that, let it go, not get on the train and follow that thought, and then go back to the breath and kind of keep the count up. Or if you don't need to count, just follow the breath. And we're going to lead into this. We've got 2 lovely hymns in our hymnal that connect with the Buddhist tradition. We're going to lead into this by singing together, get our breath going with the Meditation on Breathing song that's in our hymnal at 109, and we'll put the words up on the screen, of course. We'll sing this through 3 times, and we're going to get some help with introducing you to the song, and then we'll sing it together. With Lauren and Kathleen giving you a hand. And then after we've sung, I'm going to just ring the bell, and we'll sit for our 5 minutes without any further announcement. And then when the 5 minutes is over, I will ring the bell again, and we will sing the lovely Buddhist chant coming out of the meditation, "May I be filled with loving kindness." And that will be easy for you to follow along. We'll sing that through 3 times, and you'll notice that the pronouns change from I to you to we, until that meditation on loving and kindness embraces the whole world. So I invite our song leaders forward.
Peace, when I
We have two readings today, one from an ancient source and one from a modern source. And the first reading from an ancient source is from the 13th century Buddhist teacher and philosopher Dogen, considered a founder of the Soto Zen Buddhist lineage. And this year marks the 800th anniversary of Dogen's own experience of enlightenment. And he wrote, "When you devote yourself to the study of the sutras, they truly come forth. The sutras in question are the entire universe, mountains, rivers, and the great earth, plants and trees. They are the self and others, taking meals and wearing clothes, confusion and dignity. By following and studying each of them, you will see an infinite number of hitherto unheard of sutras appear before you." And our second reading from a modern source is a poem by Billy Collins, and it's one of my favorites for this season, one that's kind of fun to offer here in Mexico for those of you who remember snow in December, and maybe for some of you who have never experienced it. And some of you might know this poem. It's called "Shoveling Snow with Buddha." In the usual iconography of the temple or the local walk, you would never see him doing such a thing, tossing the dry snow over a mountain of his bare round shoulder, his hair tied back in a knot, a model of concentration. Sitting is more his speed, if that is the word for what he does or does not do. Even the season is wrong for him. In all his manifestations, is it not warm or slightly humid? Is this not implied by his serene expression, that smile so wide it wraps itself around the waist of the universe? But here we are, working our way down the driveway, one shovelful at a time. We toss the light powder into the clear air. We feel the cold mist on our faces, and with every heave, we disappear and become lost to each other in these sudden clouds of our own making, these fountain bursts of snow. "This is so much better than a sermon in church," I say out loud. But Buddha keeps on shoveling. "This is true religion, the religion of snow and sunlight and winter geese barking in the sky," I say. But he's too busy to hear me. He has thrown himself into shoveling snow as if it were the purpose of existence, as if the sign of a perfect life were a clear driveway you could back the car down easily and drive off into the vanities of the world with a broken heater fan and a song on the radio. All morning long, we work side by side, me with my commentary and he inside his generous pocket of silence, until the hour is nearly noon and the snow is piled high all around us. And then I hear him speak. "After this," he asks, "can we go inside and play cards?" "Oh, certainly," I reply, "and then I will heat some milk and bring cups of hot chocolate to the table and while you shuffle the deck, and our boots stand dripping by the door." "Ah," says the Buddha, lifting his eyes and leaning for a moment on his shovel before he drives the thin blade again deep into the glittering white snow. So what happened to Buddha under that tree? That was the question I was looking to answer when I made my own pilgrimage to India during a December many decades ago when I was in my 30s. I had my UU church school and seminary education, understanding of Buddhism, and a certain amount of bedside book reading and meditation practice under my belt. I thought that being in the place where it happened, where Buddha had achieved enlightenment, would open up something for me, some deeper understanding of what enlightenment might be. All the English words used to translate Buddhist terms or descriptions that come from the various Asian languages carry with them some baggage. The root word of enlightenment is, of course, light, and it's a word that can be used to describe a human experience that occurs in many different ways. The light from a flashlight that you're holding while walking on a path in dark woods is different from the light of the sun at high noon. The light of a stage spotlight in your face is different from the light of the moon over the ocean. There are many different human experiences of light. Most of us share one very common everyday experience with light. We turn on a lamp or an overhead fixture and then click, we have light. So which of these kinds of light might be the best metaphor for the experience that Buddha had? Words in different languages can often be unique, describing an experience that is particular to the place that language comes from. Since I am from Canada, a common illustration I've often heard from the Inuit culture in northern Canada is that they have many different words in their language to describe different kinds of snow. Well, my ethnic heritage is Icelandic. And because I stay connected to the Icelandic Canadian community in my home province of Manitoba, I occasionally will notice Icelandic words that have that unique quality of describing an experience that you can uniquely have in Iceland. This past summer, I learned a new one describing light. It's called rauðljóst. Rauðljóst, that's a good one to wrap your tongue around. The word means just enough light to find your way. And it describes the experience you can have in the summer season of the midnight sun during the short time when the sun is low or even below the horizon in the overnight hours, but there is still just enough light to find your way. I have played golf in Iceland at midnight when there is rauðljóst. Rauðljóst was all the light I had when I arrived at the train station on an early December morning in Bodh Gaya, India, to visit the Mahabodhi temple that marks the place where Buddha saw the morning star arise and was enlightened. He may have been awake after that experience, but me, I was barely awake. I was mostly overwhelmed by a restless overnight on a noisy, packed train from Delhi. And the train arrived in the dark, and so I shouldered my backpack and left the station. There was no bright morning star to show me where I needed to go, but I could just follow the crowd. Bodh Gaya physically is not a place that any Westerner who has learned to meditate on tiny, tight cushions on a spotlessly clean hardwood floor would ever expect to find enlightenment. Like so many places in India back then, it was crowded, hazy with dung smoke, and chaotic. Whatever forest was there when Buddha was alive is long gone. Many, many temples are built there by national organizations representing different Buddhist traditions. And they dominate the site, as well as the dozens of tour groups and Buddhist pilgrimage groups, particularly from Asian countries, that scurry around like ants following white flag-waving guides. I went there relatively early in my Buddhist practice when I was under the illusion that I would experience something special at Bodh Gaya. And mostly what happened instead is I kind of sleptwalked through the experience. And it wasn't just the lack of rest or the crowds. It was what I came expecting, that I would find something so holy and sacred there, associated with that place and person, that would change me. I was asleep in the sense that the ascetics who greeted Buddha and asked whether he was a god following his enlightenment experience were asleep, living in the dream that there is a magic practice, a magic place, or a magic person that will make me whole and happy. When I came back from my pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya, I continued my practice, and I worked with several teachers in Soto Zen Buddhism. And I began to understand that enlightenment is certainly not about a place, about a particular temple or Buddhist sect, and maybe not even about a person, even that historic person, Shakyamuni Buddha, who had an experience and an insight. Over time, and now many Bodhi Day anniversaries later, my perspective on what enlightenment means has changed. When I first started my practice, I thought enlightenment was primarily about finding that light switch that would illuminate the truth about everything, everywhere, all at once. That was my metaphor about how you find the light in enlightenment. And in fact, part of Buddhist teaching in many schools is that this kind of sudden insight, similar to what Buddha experienced, is not only possible, but central and necessary. The koans, or the teaching stories that Zen practitioners are invited to sit in meditation with quite often, are stories of sudden enlightenment experiences. Sometimes after long years of practice, but sometimes seemingly rather random and early in practice. Some schools of Buddhism see this kind of enlightenment experience as essential. And my teachers and my friends that I've made in the practice confirm that this is a real experience. This happens. So I've learned, and I continue to believe in that possibility within my practice. Through meditation and engagement with the teachers and teachings of my school, my lineage, and koan practice, without any timetable or expectation. Maybe someday I'll flick that switch, and all will be clear and bright. And I will have a singular, non-dual mind and body falls away, life-changing experience. And in fact, if I look back at my life, I'm pretty sure I've had experiences like that, but not necessarily while meditating or in a situation where they could be confirmed by a teacher. So I keep on practicing. But there is another side to the Mahayana Buddhism that I practice which doesn't emphasize that sudden enlightenment experience as absolutely essential, suggesting that instead it can be an experience gradually unfolding through a life of practice. And over again, I have heard from all my teachers and all the texts that Buddha described his experience as one everyone can have, that we didn't necessarily have to learn, that nobody else can give to us because we already had it within ourselves. And all we had to do was realize it. Easier said than done, you might say. But maybe not if you look at it as a gradual process and lifetime practice and not get stuck seeking attainment or a spotlight experience, this singular dramatic moment. Maybe enlightenment is easier to appreciate not as a spotlight, but as just enough light to find your way, as Reiliost. So there's a story from a very different tradition than Buddhism, the Jewish tradition from the Talmud, that reminds us of what Reiliost enlightenment is like. A rabbi asks his students, "How do you know when the first moment of dawn has arrived?" And the students give various answers. "Oh, it's when you can tell the difference between a sheep and a dog on the hillside." "No," says the rabbi. Another student says, "It's when you can tell the difference between a fig tree and an olive tree." Rabbi shakes his head. The students fall silent. Finally, the rabbi says, "You know the first moment of dawn has arrived when you can look into the eyes of another human being and see yourself." Seeing yourself in the other is practicing enlightenment. You can do that. You've done that. But seeing yourself in the whole world, the whole universe, is one more enlightenment practice beyond that. I think going for a walk in dark woods with a flashlight isn't Reiliost practice, because that focused light of a flashlight will enable you to see in the dark just one part of the woods ahead, just the path ahead, very clearly, but it makes the rest harder to see. Maybe our spiritual practices are like that flashlight, showing you the path ahead and allowing you to see obstacles in your way. But what if enlightenment practice isn't just shining a stronger flashlight of Buddhist teaching into the dark? What if it's really an invitation to turn off the light and look around? Have you ever done that in a dark forest? When you turn off the flashlight, it takes a while for your eyes to adjust, but you begin to be able to see the whole forest and not just the path, because there is always going to be light and enough light, always roiliost, just enough light to find your way. The light of the full moon is like that too. The moon's just enough light to find your way is soft and broad and illuminates everything across the landscape, not just one focused point. One of the famous teachings in Buddhist sutras or scripture goes like this. Suppose someone is pointing at the moon to show it to another person. That other person, guided by the pointing finger, should now look at the moon, but instead, if they look at the finger, taking it to be the moon, not only do they fail to see the moon, but they are mistaken as well about the finger. The wisdom in that sutra reflects the understanding that the finger and the moon are interdependent on each other for their existence in our experience. No moonlight, no visible finger, no finger pointing, and you miss the moon. The two are one within personal experience, and you and your experience are one with them. So our readings today are pointers, just like that finger. They're trying to show us where enlightenment is hidden in plain sight in our everyday experience. If we can just quiet down our naming, judging, chattering minds and be fully present to what is right in front of us. The great teacher Dogen baffled his students 800 years ago when they thought he was going to tell them about how important all the sutra texts were, and instead he pointed to the sutras being in the entire universe. And Billy Collins, in his delightful story poem about shoveling snow with the Buddha, shows us how doing just one thing at one time without narrating it in your head is a kind of enlightenment. This is so much better than a sermon in church. I agree with him. He insists on saying out loud while he's busy shoveling, but Buddha doesn't say anything back. He just keeps shoveling until it's time to do the next thing. And the next thing for us to do is for me to stop, and thank you for your attention. I hope you know that my purpose today has not been to convince you to be a UU Buddhist, although I'm happy to talk to you more about that. It's instead to suggest what enlightenment might look like in your everyday life. For me, it has meant slowly seeing this world and this life as it really is, all of it impermanent and ever-changing and requiring nothing more and nothing less from all of us than being completely present to everything it holds, one experience at a time, one day at a time, not separating yourself from any of it with judgments or anxiety about what we can't know and what we can't change. So I join with Billy Collins in suggesting that this is the true religion, the religion of snow and sunlight and winter geese barking in the sky.
Wow, that was powerful. Woo. We all have so many needs, 1,000 prayers, 1,000 needs that really only need one answer. Let the world not be indifferent. And may we live and be with each other in the way that shows this truth, whatever the day brings. I invite you to let this taking of the offering be a time to honor our collective responsibility toward the common good. Your contributions will be gratefully received.
De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy, así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy, así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Our closing hymn is on video, and some of you may be aware of Peter Mayer, a UU singer, and you may know this song. You can sing it along. We're not going to have Peter singing it in person in the video. We're going to have his voice and the words. So if you can follow along, it goes pretty quickly. But the chorus is "Where is the light?" and you can shout it out. So you'll get the hang of it. Let's sing together. Stand up and sing together. "Where is the light?"
When it's late December, dark and cold, where is the light? When old man you was bending low, where is the light? When the sun runs off a bit too soon, where is the light? And there's nothing but a skinny moon, where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. When it's dark each morning when I rise, where is the light? And it's dark when my eggs are frying, where is the light? And it's dark when off to work I go, where is the light? And it's dark again when I get home, where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. It's in my skin and in my bones, in my heart and in my soul. That light of light so bright and golden, like a summer day. When the sun goes missing in the sky, it is rising in my eyes, chasing all that winter gloom away. I'm burning bright like kerosene. Where is the light? I'm twinkling like the Pleiades. Where is the light? I'm dancing like a candle flame. Where is the light? And I'm flaming like a fruit flambe. Where is the light? Oh, can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. Can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Oh, can you tell me where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let
Wayne, thank you for your wonderful words, and thank you all for joining us in worship, whether you're here at the Aldea or part of the many people that are with us this morning on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, please stay on after the service and visit and discuss this morning's message. If you're here at the Aldea, please join us for coffee and cookies and check out all the information on the welcome table, including information about our Social Justice Foundation. We hope you will be with us again next week when the Reverend Kathleen Rolenz will continue our exploration of the season of light. And next week after the service, there's a very special event, and I think we have a little, yeah, we do.
Well, this time I remember the hat, but I forgot the script. We are having our holiday bazaar next Sunday after the service, and we are really excited about it because there's going to be so many wonderful things, food things, beautiful things, plant things, lots of goodies. And we want you to bring your money and buy bunches because it's all to help our UU. Thank you.
Yes, and also just to support all our fellow UU members who create and who are bringing their things to sell. I know they'll appreciate seeing you there. Thank you.
Finally, an important reminder. This is a wonderful fellowship. A lot happens here, both in person and on Zoom. But it only happens because of your generosity. This is the time of year when members are asked to pledge as generously as they can, and many have done so. But we still need many folks to pledge who have not yet done so. We need your pledge so that our board can have the best information possible for presenting you with a budget at the meeting, which will take place in just 2 weeks. So please, if you have not yet pledged, do so today. And thank you for whatever amount you are able to commit for this coming year. As always, we end our service with a benediction, which means good words to take as our guide for the week. Wayne?
As we depart today, may we each be awake.
Awake to the power that we have in this moment and in every moment.
Awake to the power that we each have to affirm the holy interdependence of our lives with this world.
May we truly recognize the potential of our authentic presence and the everyday enlightenment that it offers.
The time has come, and it is always now. Now, please remain seated as we close the service with a postlude song from my old Buddhist UU friend, Taizan Alford.
My child, I wish you every happiness. Mi hijo, te deseo toda la felicidad. Mi hijo, te sostengo en la ternura de mis brazos. My child, I see myself reflected in your eyes. Que seas feliz, que estés en paz. May you always have enough food to eat and warmth around your feet. May you grow in wisdom and love, mijo. my child. Flame we hold, one day you'll carry on your own. May you be happy. Que estés en paz. Que siempre tengas suficiente comida y calor a tus pies. May you grow in wisdom and love, my child.